Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is a Sunday, July 26th, 2020. If you are watching the VODs on YouTube, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you are so inclined, head on over to twitch.tv/Otaku Showboat to leave a follow to be notified when I go live Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to approximately 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. You can do all of the social stuff through the links below the video, including supporting Pyanodon's mods development at patreon.com/Pyanodon and myself at patreon.com/Otaku Showboat. So, as per usual at the beginning of the streams, to say the least, the kittens are not around. They're not in the room at the moment. They may try to get in at some point, but they now have other distractions because folks have returned home from Massachusetts. So now I'm not alone in this house anymore for the time being. Anyway, so yeah, that was my day 2 days ago. Was helping to unpack the rental car, and yesterday starting to sort through what they brought back, which, grand scheme of things, wasn't much, but there is a lot left. There's a lot left. My mother's already talking about going back for Labor Day to bring more stuff back, possibly even looking at renting a truck, like a U-Haul truck, to moving vehicle to drive back with a bunch of furniture from that house. So, yeah, this is not the end of their travels out to Massachusetts. I still don't know if I'm going to be going up there this next time. Uh, I liked being by myself with the kittens, but anyway. With that said, Immortal is slightly late. Yes, slightly late as we get into the game today. There's been an update to the Pi Suite, to Pi Alien Life, that doesn't necessarily affect us right now. Hello, welcome. Welcome. I am about to talk about the fact that Circuit 2s, the advanced circuits, or whatever the hell they're called, complex, that's the word, complex circuit boards, aka Circuit 2s, as well as Circuit 3s, now have this stuff called MOSFETs that you need to craft for them. So Circuits 2s and 3s MOSFETs are blocked behind basic electronics as recipe. Yes, I'm a little early for this new stuff. There's, of all of this, two things are brand new. This Ni-Si, or nickel silicon, and silicon carbide. These two things are new. The Ni-Si is Cobalt Extract. Now this says 1, but this is like a 50% chance of getting your 2 back, I think. Or it might just be you're guaranteed the 1, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that this was a percentage chance of getting back your cobalt that you put in. But yeah, so we've got more things that loop back. More things. That's like the theme of the updates to the Pi Suite this time, is lots of things that return a thing. Hello, welcome everyone. Yes, loops, lots of loops. This is going to take silicon and nickel and vacuum plus cobalt extract. It's pretty simple. Yes, all of the loops. Now the silicon carbide is going to be 1-to-1 from a green SiC, green SiC, or silicon carbide. That needs to be lowercase I, though. Green silicon carbide. It's from powdered quartz, which we're sort of already making, as well as graphite and coke together in an electric arc furnace to get this green silicon carbide that gets secondarily crushed into silicon carbide. Now this stuff, as you can see here, it gets used in the production of drill heads. There are drill head recipes that use this stuff now that gives you nice amounts of drill heads. It's quite lovely. Other stuff besides just these MOSFETs. And you also see there's a use here to make some bio oil out of dried biomass. I don't think this is the only, or this is the only bio oil recipe. Okay, so in order to actually get into bio oil, you'll need to spend silicon carbide. All right, sure. It's cheap enough. I think it's coke and quartz. That's a lot of coke in the form of graphite to make this stuff. Like you're not going to be using this as fuel, like ever. I don't think. Pretty sure the math on that's going to be definitely negative on the amount of fuel used, fuel value lost in the form of this silicon carbide going into bio oil. But we shall see as we go along. Note that you have another loop here. Another loop here. 50% chance of getting your quartz tube back. Now, what are quartz tubes? It's another new item. It's another new item that is boron trioxide with rare earth oxides as well as molten glass to get these quartz tubes. And they are used in bio oil, in a loop, and in hydrogen chloride in a loop. Another loop. This is a better hydrogen chloride recipe. An improvement to the hydrogen chloride, which actually, now that I'm looking at it, needs to be unlocked behind a tech. It's not set to disabled and behind a tech yet, so that's one thing I've just noticed. This isn't tech locked at the moment. So yes, instead of only a 50% chance of getting your lamp back, by adding this bit of complexity in the logistics, you have a 90% chance of getting your lamps back instead of a 50% chance of getting your lamps back. So that is a pretty significant reduction in the iron and copper cost and glass cost of your hydrogen chloride production when making it out of chlorine and hydrogen. Apparently King didn't even see this recipe for the lack of the tech unlock. Yeah. So it's pretty nice, the reduction here on the material cost on these lamps by adding in this looping quartz tube. Like, this is as simple as making some quartz tubes, placing the line down, and just putting in enough quartz tubes to keep the thing moving. Like, it's relatively simple in that way. As long as each machine has enough quartz tubes to keep moving 100% of the time, it's fine. And if you have loaders, it's even more simple, because then it's just a loader in and a loader out, and it'll just keep moving both the lamps and the quartz tubes for you. It will be fine, I hope. I dare say it should be okay. There's updates. This now includes the update to Biomass, the big change overhaul to Biomass that does sort of impact the current state of the game, in that Biomass now has a 1 megajoule fuel value. 1 whole megajoule fuel value. And yeah, a whole bunch of ways of using bio oil once you can make bio oil. And there's a big processing chain now for biomass, if I can find any of those recipes in here. Where art thou? Where is it? Where did they go? Where did they go? There it is. Powdered biomass. So you can do biomass in a pulp mill into powdered biomass. The powdered biomass uses the old icon. We now have a new icon on standard biomass. Note that the biomass into raw coal is now 50 into 4, and you no longer have the biomass into coke recipe. That recipe is dead. Gone. No longer exists. Now, powdered biomass is then processed into fine powdered biomass in a looping setup, in a in one of those nice little math being awful setups, in that the powdered biomass is going to give you fine powdered as well as powdered and regular biomass that you have to then feed back to previous steps in the process. So, yes, and process the biomass into bio oil and then raw coal for a much better process. But again, I have to reiterate, we need to do the math on that because the bio oil from biomass recipe, that silicon carbide, is a lot of fuel value. It is a lot of fuel value, so it'd have to make more fuel value of coke out of the raw coal that's produced out of the bio oil for it to be worth doing. Best way to make coke now is tar to heavy. Basically, in PyAlien Life, in PyBlock, I would say, I've definitely been looking at doing tar to heavy oil for a source of consistent coke in PyBlock. But yeah, updates. Hello, Ave. There's updates. There's a whole processing chain now to biomass. Now, once you get into dried biomass, note that dried biomass has a fuel value of 1.2 megajoules as opposed to 1, but you end up, this should be greater than 1 to 1, I'm pretty sure, going from, or at least equal to 1 to 1 from biomass into dried biomass going through this whole processing process. So I would hope that you either end up with more or the same amount going into this. So it's worse than biomass as fuel, you think? Well, that's the idea, is we have to do this math. And I could do this math if I put it into Hellmod, but I want to actually do stuff today, and none of this stuff at the moment is even relevant because it's not going to happen until green science. It's 45 biomass into 28.7 dried. Okay, yeah, so that's like what? Losing some megajoules of fuel value? You go from 45 to whatever, or maybe a slight gain. It goes from 45 to 28.7 times 1.2. 28.7 times 1.2, or 34.4. So you lose close to 10 megajoules in that. You lose a bit. You lose a bit. 45 minus 34.44. You lose 10.5 megajoules of fuel value. Pinedon has changed the icon for the transistor already, because transistor in this patch I have right now, the transistor icon and the MOSFET icon, it's just a color shift between these two. At the moment, I would say he needs a better icon or a different icon for one of these, because they are it's just a color shift on the MOSFET production. You had to update Pi High Tech and wasn't aware of what, King? Of what? It just got updated a few minutes ago. Okay, well let's save. And let's do that update to Pi High Tech to get, like, what is it, an icon? So that it's at, like, an icon change? Did you even add a fix bug with skin and adjust recipes? Recipe adjustments. What are these recipe adjustments? I do not know what these recipe adjustments are. Let us confirm, and let us watch as the game loads so that we can actually, for the first time, see the difference between having the game on my M.2 drive, have the game on my M.2 drive versus on hard drive. Well, versus having the mods on a hard drive and the game on a normal SSD through a SATA connection. I have a fast internet. I technically do. It's a 300 megabit download connection. You never noticed the changelog button in the mod update window until now. Well, it's there. It works only a brief period of time. Doesn't always work. It does not always work, that changelog button in the game. It's very, very picky on the formatting of the changelog. Um, it's very picky on the formatting of the changelog. Not everything will have this changelog button, even though a changelog exists. Like even though the changelogs generally exist, this formatting, it needs to be precise. In particular, the number one most important thing with the changelogs is that they cannot have tabs. It cannot have tabs in the changelog. So any little thing here, these little tick mark bullet points, you can't have a tab. You can't have a tab character. It has to be actual space characters. You can use space characters, you cannot use tab characters, and that is unfortunate, especially for people using text editors that automatically do tab spacing. So things like Notepad++, if you're using that, it by default it will automatically do a tab character when you hit enter on those, and I think that's what gets PyBlock's changelog. Is an automatic insertion of a tab character on the stuff. If you go to the mod screen and click a mod, it'll actually tell you what's wrong with the changelog. Alright, cool. Make sure you do that with PyBlock too, because it's the same. It's the same issue. It's the same thing. Pretty sure like 99% of the time the reason why the changelogs don't show up in game is because there's a tab character. I think most people get the fact that those little dash lines to separate the entries in the changelog needs to be a very specific number of dashes as well. If you are either one too few or one too many, it also breaks the changelog. It is a precise number of dashes to separate the entries as well. It is incredibly finicky, But anyway, let's no longer delve into all this other stuff. Complex circuit. So what did you do with complex circuits in Pi High Tech? It is a new transistor icon. There we go. Brand new transistor icon. Looks slightly different than the MOSFETs. Slightly different. Different enough to tell the difference between the two if they're on a belt, I would imagine. Well, that's nice. Yeah, it's all like Notepad++ on automatically doing the tab stops is a little annoying at times when you're not supposed to have tabs in this one very specific circumstance. Oh, hey, it's the new biomass icon. Hey, the new icon on the biomass for all the power I'm producing. So I have already gone ahead and changed over this setup. This was the steam power. This was steam power right in here in the base. Now it's the double power from syngas. So I have a bit more syngas now. I have a bit more syngas production to feed into this. Do you want to send a bio oil ping for the math? Yeah, I mean, sure you can. It'll be good to see what the current math is. I doubt it's going to stay the same for too particularly long, because new features like this will get adjusted rather quickly. These things tend to get adjusted rather quickly. Oh, hey, it's YAFC. So desired of 45 of that biomass. Let's see, that's a lot of stuff. It consumes 28.5 megawatts of power. and it makes... Is that saying it's making 287 of the bio oil as well as the other stuff? Yeah, that looks like a lot of fuel value. 28.5 megawatts. It's 200 megajoules of fuel into 28. Okay, I'll believe you for the moment. Yeah, because you also spend all that coke too, as well as the regular power. You spend 24.4 coke plus 28.5 megawatts of power to get 287 bio oil, which is a little nuts. A little nuts. Most of that fuel value is the coke that you lose in the end. So what you're saying is the bio oil needs to be able to process into the bio oil will then, that 287 bio oil would need to process into more than 24.4 coke in the end after going through raw coal processing, which I doubt it does, but you never know until you actually do that math. And then some to make up for that 28 megawatts of power, right? So, anyhoozle, we're just looking at uses of bio oil potentially for power. Don't mind us. I mean, I'm okay with it being negative. It's just we want to know whether or not it's negative so that we know what to use it for, right? That we're not like I don't particularly care whether or not it's a positive amount of power. It would mean that I wouldn't do bio oil into raw coal ever, as it would be a loss of power. Loss of megajoules, but I would use it for the other petrochemical stuff that you can use bio oil for. Bio oil. Bio oil. Bio oil. Bio oil. So it has a refined syngas recipe with nickel plus bio oil and refined syngas. I really like this recipe. I really like this recipe. Going into refined syngas. This is a really, 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 really good recipe. If you're willing to spend the nickel. Since you have to still spend this nickel, but in PyBlock, let's think of it in PyBlock. This is a really good recipe for using bio oil to make refined syngas. Again, note how much coke you spend for this, for the making of the bio oil through the silicon carbide in particular. You can also use it to make condensates in two different versions of this condensate recipe. There is bio oil into raw coal, 200 into 20, as well as condensates, or condensates, low distillates, and medium distillates. Which, yeah, okay, sure, that's nice. That's nice. I like the next lit natural gas. I like the regular bio oil into natural gas and petroleum. Maybe not so much the spending of the next lit, for that matter, but specifically in PyBlock, this set of recipes would be decent as a way to get into natural gas. Otherwise, the condensates, there's generally speaking not many good things to do with condensates. There's only one thing that you can do with condensates, and that is into raw gas, BT, and a little bit of BTX and tailings. The raw gas is part of this processing into like refined natural gas, which is another way of getting into refined syngas, as well as getting some other stuffs, I guess, into rich gas for helium. So I don't really see that much of a reason to move it into condensates. Eh. Is bio oil to raw coal to coke to bio oil positive? That's what we've been looking at. That's what we've been trying to figure out, is if bio oil to raw coal to coke, is it enough to keep feeding itself, / is it positive on the coke aspect? I hear an Ollie trying to reach his paws under my door to get in. He wants to get in, but I'm not letting him in. Not after what happened last time with Dolly. So last time, in the second half of the stream, when the kittens were around, they managed to get into my closet, and Dolly jumped onto my computer and hit the power button while I was streaming. Yeah, about that. Yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing. So, now that we've had our like half hour of just discussion and all of that of these changes, what did I do to the base? Well, you can probably immediately see a difference in the base between last time and this time. You can probably see something immediately different between last time and this time with the base. That's like the biggest thing that I did. Yeah. Yeah, so this is now 272 Mark Zero fish farms. It is now 272 Mark Zero fish farms. I've gotten rid of the fish farm stuff from this plan for the moment. How much urea from this? It is going to be, where, 3.2. It is 3.2. There is no lamps. There is no lamps. This is the saline seaweed recipe. There's no lamps for any of this. There's no lamps here. This is zero power buildings through saline, water, and seaweed, aka free. AKA free. And it's 4 of these guys, so it's like just under, it's under 4, like 3.2, between 3 and 4 of the urea. So that's that. That is my setup for my urea. The reason I don't want to do urea from manure is because it also uses Zogna bacteria, and Zogna bacteria is glass through petri dishes, as well as wood, as well as lamps, which is iron, copper, and glass. So lots of glass, plus iron, plus copper to get Zogna bacteria. I don't like spending those resources to get something as easy as urea, or something as simple as urea. I don't like spending those particular resources on urea if I have a choice in the matter, and I do have a choice in the matter. My choice is space for the production of the blood, and look at all of this other nice, beautiful stuff that we've got that I'm currently destroying, right? I'm currently destroying quite a bit of other stuff that I could use for other stuff, right? The one recipe in AL that was still using glass and not molten got updated as well. So you're saying that my production of the petri dishes is broken now? Yes, it is. So you're saying the petri dish stuff is broken now? There it goes. Hey, what a fix. So, yes, that needed a fix. That was an oversight, because you could double dip on the hot air bonuses. That really needed a change because of that double dipping. Well, this is not petri dish. This is actual glass And do I need a consistent source of glass? At the moment, not really. I'm not even putting it onto my network of stuff. How would I even do that? I don't even know. Without building on this. By the way, if you pay very close attention, this is now concrete and not stone bricks. So I did a little bit of tweaking and adding of a few things. In particular, up here we've got the phytoplankton from the iron ore that has been added onto my main bus, and the iron ore plus stone bricks plus water is equal to concrete. Why do I need concrete? Well, it's because concrete is actually used for centrifuges, and I will need centrifuges to produce fiber once I get into green science. I'm thinking for the future, like, at some point in my mall, I'm going to need to have a source of concrete for centrifuges in particular, and that's going to be all of that. So, I've also, like, I've added a few empty pipes for future reference. I'm just guessing I'm going to use it, probably some of these. And then I've added down towards the bottom, like, I've put some more stuff onto my bus, and I've added, like, 4 extra empty lanes down here for the bus as well. So, lots of little tweaks and things. I've also made a whole bunch of buildings in preparation for what we're going to be doing at some point. What I need to think about, though, is do I have a consistent demand on the Vrauk cocoons? I don't know. But anyway, today we're going to think about getting into Vrauk, which means I need to set up Biosamples. That is our first thing that we need to do today, is set up some Biosamples. Now, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab automated factories, because these Biosamples are going to be done through the power of these guys, bio containers, and then the Biosample is going to be through which building? The Bio Factory, so that is... Where are they? Bio Factory. Do I not have them in here? Bio Factory. Wherefore art thou? I guess I didn't put... Oh, there it is. Bio Factory. Hi. Hello and welcome. I need that. So how many of these do I need? Excellent question. 1! 1! It makes enough. 1 fully. 1 fully. This is what we'll use the phytoplankton, the wastewater, and Zogna bacteria. There was a bioprinting update as well. What changed with bioprinting? I didn't even see what all that was. What changed with bioscaffolds then? What changed in regards to bioprinting? Not really paying too much attention. It's either going to be a change with the bioscaffolds or the stem cells or the immunosuppressants. Like, what here has changed? By the way, one of the biggest problems with doing bioprinting is the primers for the pluripotent stem cells. Like, you're going to want to do, like, really good, much better recipes just to improve the primers to stem cells output, because primers only have 1 recipe, and it is a 70% chance of actually getting a primer in each cycle of this recipe, and you might notice that this is not exactly cheap in terms of the incubated petri dishes in particular. So, if you're doing a lot of bioprinting, you're going to need a really huge incubated petri dish setup in particular for this to feed the primers for the pluripotent stem cells. That's going to be the biggest bottleneck of that system. I'm gonna move this whole thing a little bit further down. I'm gonna move you a little bit further down still. And I'll adjust as we get through things. In fact, what I'm going to do, let's see, we have 4 inputs. I guess I'll put them together. Do I need only one of these? This makes 1.5. Do I need 2? I need 2. I do. Need 2. Doinky, 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 doinky. There you go. Meant to copy. So let's see. There was also come out fix, so it was tendons with what? Come out food not more affordable, but tendons reduced on the production of serine. Because that was another big one. Is the tendons, or was it the bioprinting of the tendons that changed? I don't know. Ah, that's it. That's it. That's the change. So it went from base 1 to base 2 and then base 2 to base 3. I think. I'm pretty sure that used to be 1 and 2. Now it's 2 and 3. Which, yeah, that helps a lot for serine. That would help a lot. And the come out food. What is that food called? It's the rations. I don't know what changed here. Yeah, it's skin. It's a lot of skin. But by the time you need come out rations, here's my where I diverge from Immortal Sniper here on my thoughts on the rations / food for come outs. By the time you need these, you have really good recipes to get skin. So it does not matter how much skin this uses ultimately, because you have the production capacity in reasonable scales to do it. So, yeah, that's my thoughts there. This can get moved up. What type of spacing do I need for this? I can probably just go right up abutting the thingy. There we go, and then that can go like so. I need to think about how I'm gonna shove the stuff out as well. How the heck am I gonna output? I'll do it on the side with the pipes. So this will be solid input. It's just I need 2 solid inputs. Thank you kindly. So that'll just go that way. Then I'll have the other solid input from there. This is going to be more solid inputs. So iron, or steel, rather. Glass! Oh hey, I need to put the glass on the network now. Yay! We need the glass on the network. Oh hey, there's a glass. Do I want to combine these? I might have to. How much glass does this actually, one of these make? 2.33. I'm going to eventually need about that. About that much. Or do I do the glass local? I think that's the better idea. Wait, I'm not carrying glass? Glass? There you are. Hello, Glassworks. That would mean moving this a bit further back. Glassworks. This is going to get rotated. If possible. I need to separate these by a tile, don't I? Yep. At least one tile. And then that needs to happen, like, there. That works. Then I also need hot air. Then the hot air as well. Oops, that is the wrong direction for you. There you go. That, I guess, is okay. Yes, that is fine. That be fine and dandy. Move that further. Because hot air. Because the regenerative heat exchanger needs to be somewhere. This needs a bit, actually, of hot air. Alright. That's gonna be enough. More than enough. I just need, actually, one of you to get the amount of glass that I need. 50 pressured air, that's 2 of these guys. Move that up. Or, actually, better yet, keep it down below and do that on the other side. What am I working on at the moment? I am working on the biosamples. I am working on the glass for the containers. And then I'll bring in the other stuff to have the containers, and then I'll go into the biosamples. That's what I'm working on right now, and then we'll do the moss gene samples and start the process of getting Vrauk for the Vrauk cocoons for the retrovirus, and then the plasmids and the cDNA into Moondrop and Relesia and Crawdad. Crawdad, by the way, is going to need some alien sample, the poor alien sample, so we'll have some work before getting that, but I would like to get the Crawdad today. I would very much enjoy getting the Crawdad today. This is going to be fuel. This is going to be the hot air. Beautiful, glorious, wonderful fuel through that direction, and the molten through that direction. Oops. Wrought iron pipe, excuse me. This way, this recipe here. And this needs to get a not insignificant amount of stone bricks in. Why would anyone use normal iron pipe over wrought iron pipe? Exactly, use the wrought iron pipes. Because wrought iron pipes are only available in PyBlock. That's, yeah, don't use regular iron pipes in PyBlock. Use the wroughts whenever possible. You need the regular iron pipes to make the pipe to ground. For when you have the resources to make a sufficient amount of pipe to ground. And then, of course, upgrade into niobium when you have the chance, and then multi-purpose. You do still need normal iron pipes for some buildings, though, so do bear that in mind. They are a material used for buildings. And other things, like the engine units. I think engine units. Yes. I do not use LTN. I use I use the other one, Train Supply Manager, TSM. So I have never used LTN. Ever. I only use Train Supply Manager, and that's what I have in this playthrough is Train Supply Manager. It is very different than LTN, and it is more UPS friendly. The thing about pipes is you cannot actually change their flow rate any better than what it is. Sadly. Like, not easily. You cannot... If you increase the amount of fluid a pipe can hold, it actually reduces its flow rate. And if you decrease the amount of fluid that it can hold, you also reduce the flow rate. So it's like, everything is designed around the concept of these things holding 100 units of fluid in each pipe segment. Like, everything is designed around the concept of it only holding 100 units in terms of the distance reductions as well as the... yeah, it's mostly the distance part side of it. Like, it's... You would need a lot more pumps than you do normally, even at 100. So it's bad. Fluid mechanics suck, and devs canceled any fluid mechanics changes before 1.0. We were supposed to get fluid mechanics updates like in 0.17, even before that, I guess, but it never happened, and it's still not happened, and it will never happen. We will never get these things. You can definitely make pipes worse. By the way, speaking of making pipes worse, that was the case with niobium pipes originally. A very, very long time ago. Niobium pipes used to have an actual fluid box size of, I think it was 300 units on the pipe to ground and the pipe for niobium pipe. So I demonstrated in my stream, the off the rails playthrough, that fluid box size being greater than 100 made niobium pipes objectively worse than iron pipes. And I showed that I showed how it was very bad over distances, which the whole point of having that extra pipe to ground length is to reduce the entities, right? To help the fluid travel further with less reduction of flow rate. So I showed how it compared to iron pipes over the same distances, and it got changed to 100 after that on the pipes, and then later on the pipe to grounds as well. So, yeah. And this is why, by the way, all of the various different types of pipes and bobs, all of Bob's pipes have the same size now, same amount of fluid in them because of the stupidity of the fluid mechanics. Bob wanted to have pipes that had lower and higher amounts of fluid in it, but they ended up not doing anything but being worse than regular pipes at 100. So, yeah, that's a thing that totally happened. Now, this needs stone bricks. I need to consider what the heck I'm going to do with the stone bricks. I'm going to actually break this and just keep on moving it down even further. I don't even know that this is going to be down far enough, because I'm going to grab a setup that I have elsewhere up here somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? Here. This setup. So, remember that hot air that is needed for the rubber? Well, I decided I would feed it its stone bricks locally, mostly, with some input from the rest of the main boss, just because it really uses a lot for 2 of these operating. It's a lot of stone bricks, so yeah. Each pair is not much output of stone bricks. I think it's like 2.5. 2.5 for a pair. So I would need oh. Speaking of, let's get some stone. I'm probably gonna have 2 of these setups. This is 1, 2, 3. And it's also doing the stone locally, so it's doing the stone into stone bricks in those little old setups. Or it's actually 1.25 each. Now that I'm thinking about it, each pair. Let me look at this again. It is 1.25 each pair. So yeah, I'm gonna need 6 for one for one of these. How many units of glass do I actually need for these? Let me look here. How much actual glass is needed here for this? 2. I need 2 glass, which is actually wait, what? That's just 1? Well, all right. Sure. I will take that. If it's just 1, I won't worry at all. Because that means I don't need that all the way over there. Then I can put that there. This is all I have to think about, and I only need half of it, so I still think I want 2 of those setups. You just like the hot air change. Has anyone found the point where the base recipe starts being bad in PyBlock? Well, I would say that as soon as you can get the coke oven gas, start doing the warm stone bricks, loops, and pipe bus your coke gas where you have your production of stuffs. I would still say do this locally and pipe in the coke oven gas rather than pipe made hot air whenever possible. I think it's greater than 1-to-1. I have to look at it. I think the coke oven gas is a more dense gas than the hot air at some point. In which case, then it's better to just move that around rather than move hot air around. So these beautiful things. I need 2 of these. 2 of these beauties. Yeah, as you can see, well, that's a little problematic. Maybe I go through the bottom. If this is only going to be feeding 1, then I can use this space for this stone brick stuff. Just like so. Do I have all of the buildings I need for this? No, I do not. Of course I do not. So with the coke oven gas, what you do is you make a setup that is very specifically producing red hot coke, and you void the excess red hot coke. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. You just void the red hot coke to get the coke oven gas, or you use another route of getting coke oven gas. There is another route. I don't know if it gives proper temperature, though. That is the wrong side. I need you going this way. Excuse me, but that. There you go. There's your stone bricks. Yeah, you're pretty much forced into having to void something, and it's easier to void the red hot coke rather than attempting to void coke through steam voiding. That will save you the tailings ponds running their script to void a whole bunch of steam made out of that high fuel value coke. So it saves you a great big line of boilers to get rid of the excess coke at the very end, and it saves you the whole step of having to even make the coke in the first place. Just get rid of the red hot coke and just dedicate something to making uh, the coal gas for you. Just dedicated coal gas is ideal. Dedicated Dedicated everything is better. Is better. It's all better when you have dedicated stuffs. This can now go and be properly spaced right there. This will need fuel and stuffs. Fuel and stuffs, yes. Very, very specific. Fuel and molten. Liquid fuel and molten, which we all should know what the liquid fuel should be by now. That being the syngas. There's the syngas. And here's the molten. Yay! Fluidbot's doing its thing. Don't really need those markers, that's just to indicate my spacing. Yes, I only have one space here rather than two. Whatever. Don't care. I can add another freaking pipe here if I really wanted to, and add two pipes here. And still be okay. And still be fine. And I can, of course, put those lanes, those actual lanes, in right here if I was willing to do, like, this massive waste of resources. Like, if I was willing to do this, I could have actual lanes of bus in here, but only if absolutely necessary. Space is not that big of a deal anymore, to be completely honest. Alright, so what am I bringing in next? I need steel, lead, and titanium. Well, the lead and titanium are somewhat close to each other. And the steel can come in on this. Ooh. Okay. Just because they're, like, right next to each other makes it a little bit more difficult. I need to probably do that. Yeah. And then what I'll have to do here is, whoops, that is the wrong direction. There you go. So what does this do? This allows me to have a thing that goes across there without running afoul of having the thing sticking out in here. Okay, you. What is my spacing? There. There you go. That is that. And that should be the containers. Now, I will note, I do not have the titanium output to feed this at the full 2 per second that I need, right? I absolutely do not have the titanium to properly feed into this. That's not going to happen for a long time. This is planning for future. Basically, we are planning for the future, and that is actually a lot of stuff per second. I'm uncertain here about this rotation speed, if that's good enough, because it's extra distance that it has to travel. It's not quite 6 because that's for 3. And I need 2, right? That's 3, I need 2, so I need 2/3 of that. So I need 2. Or I need 2/3 of 6, so I need 4. 4. In fact, I need precisely 4 units to make green science. 1 green science per second is 4 titanium plates per second. It is better at green. It is far better at green. So I need moss and seaweed. Moss and seaweed are next. They are directly next to each other. Right up here. How do I do this under normal circumstances? I think I'll just do it like this. There you go. I need more underground belt. By the way, I also took the opportunity between videos, I think I did this between videos, to do the belt, the rubber belt belts. This particular recipe takes the iron in small parts and belt to make 15 transport belts per cycle rather than 2. So that is definitely something that I always want to make use of. Always want to make use of that recipe. I could do the exact same thing with making engine units. I don't need that many engine units at this moment in time, so I am not. I just scaled up the production a little bit, increased the buildings, and all of that good stuff. Okay. That means I just need to add these 3 fluids into the system. That means I have to move you a little bit. Let's grab all that. Do I even have enough pipe to grounds? I think so. Oh, that's off a tile. That sucks. That sucks. How do I fix this? Well, the only way to really fix it, I guess, is to just do 1 more tile down. Easier to just add 1 than delete the one on the top here. Let's delete these. Definitely looking forward to belt immunity equipment someday. Someday, at some point. Definitely want the belt immunity equipment. Oops. Oops. I don't have a repair thingy, Maduhiki. By the way, I have the nanobot emitter now. So I could make some nanobots, too. I actually used a few in extending my bus at one point. So Zogna is first. Let's get that going. Please tell me if this is 3rd. It is. It is the 3rd. That makes this so much more convenient. And then the second one is wastewater. Beautiful and glorious wastewater. Wow, that ended up being perfect. Ah, yeah, that ended up being quite lovely. Oh, hey, we've got biosamples now. Why do I still even have the pistol? I murder crates. Yes, I definitely murder steel chests. What even is my kills at this point? All of my kills. I have killed a warehouse. I have killed a warehouse. That's the craziness that I have done at this point. As well as chests. Speaking of, why did I kill a warehouse? There's something missing here, right? I had a setup of seaweed biomass to steam power over here. That's gone now. I got rid of that completely. It was superfluous. I have plenty of power for the moment. It's not 397. It's 240-ish. So I'm actually using about half my power availability at the moment, but hey, we're fine for now. So that's these. What am I gonna do with these on the output? See, there was this nice thing I could have done. Oh, I can do this. Hey, that's simple. Could do it here too, but yeah. Yay. Do I want to put these... Well, I need to put these onto the bus, so that's what I'll do. These have a continuous use, and that's going to be here. The first item on this line will be biosamples. Huzzah! We have biosamples. Really expensive thing. Really, really, really expensive thing. My god, I really hope and pray that I can do productivity in these. That is my plan. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen. The productivity in these. It is going to happen. Like not optional. Productivity will happen. Just because I can't do the fuel value thing. I can't exploit the fuel value with speed. I cannot exploit the fuel value of the biocontainers with speed for these. Half the factory looks like it's making seaweed. Well, a chunk of it is. I am making like more than a yellow belt of seaweed, and I'm consuming most of it. I'm making more than a yellow belt, and it's actually almost all getting consumed from here. So we have the biosamples. Yay! We did it. Now for the moss gene samples. These are in gene labs. Actually, I think maybe. Wait, what are these? What are these in? Moss gene. Wherefore art thou? I didn't even touch you on this. So moss gene. One would imagine would be in a gene lab. Yes. Glassware. And moss. Okay, both are on my bus. I need this thing. Needs iron. And seaweed. 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 How many of these do I need? I don't know. For now, I'm just making one so that I can feed it to make the gene samples that I need. Because we're not going to have a consistent use of these for a little while. Moss gene samples are used to make cDNA in particular, as well as, you know, directly in crawdads and caravans and the first Vrauk, the first Bodos, but we're not going to be looking at these / using these consistently basically ever. There's... What is this? Something that is going to be happening in the future. That is this. So cDNA doesn't really have much of a consistent use yet. Late in the game, that is when cDNA gets a consistent consumption. But for now, we don't have to worry about actually putting it onto my bus. There's a lot of things in the previous Paidu Valley playthrough that I put on my bus that did not need to be put on the bus, and a lot of space used on my bus that didn't need to be used for permanent placements. So I'm going to just place down as, like, in a single line all of these things that I need, and just leave it for the moment, but I'm not going to put any of it onto my main bus, and that's, I think, how I'm going to go about things. So, there's lots of, shall we say, plans that are going to be implemented for features going into the future. This is a pretty key hint as to one of the new things that's going to be added into the future. Just the name of this tech says a lot. The name of the text says a lot about what's going to be happening here, and that is a lot of stuff. Paragen, in particular, is from the cotton gut stuff. Yeah. That gives you a reason to actually go into the cotton gut stuff. Alright. Sure. Sure thing. So, the moss gene samples. We'll also need one of these for the cDNA, so I will need to make another one. Potentially. Or I'll just switch it from one to the other. What do I need to make another one of these? A lot of copper. A lot of copper. That's the other thing, by the way, for the green science. There is no chance in hell I will be able to make enough... I will be able to actually make that one green science per second, not only because I don't have enough titanium, I also don't have enough copper. Well, I have barely enough copper, but it's not enough to feed both red and green science. This is going to consume 2.6 copper plates per second by itself, right? Let alone what I need for the red science as well. We have cotton guts, but do we have cotton... What? Do we have cotton in Biomods? No, we have Kickalk. That's the closest thing that's fibrous. The closest fibrous thing is Kickalk, not cotton. So, let's see. This needs the glassware and the moss. That can go in. Just load the one thing and offload into a chest for me. This stuff. This beautiful, wonderful, glorious stuff. Why do I always place things where the power poles are in the way? Always place with power poles in the way. Alright, I need these two things. Hey, these two things. That's gonna be this setup. But here. So that needs to be like that. Nope, one more. And then delete all that. And that, and there we go. There's our moss and our glassware going down. Hey, it's making things! Glorious, beautiful moss genes. Alright. What is next for our first Vrauk? Our first Vrauk will need some stuff in a data array. Now, I have a data array right here. The data array I'm going to put up all the way where I have my red science. Why did the game just really slow down there? Don't know. By the way, this thing still exists. Just want to throw out the concept of this being a thing totally. If I grab some of these with their plus 375% speed, if I grab a few of these, this totally still works. You can put fish in your science labs. You can put any of the creature modules into your science labs, and they'll operate at, in this case, plus 750%. So each one of these is worth 8.5. So yeah, each one of these is now 8.5. So that means I don't need nearly as many as I otherwise would. In fact, it would probably be limited more by the inserters than anything else. So that saves on how many labs you need. That's all it does. It does not do anything else for you. Your ability to put any of the pie sweet fish into these buildings, because the game floors productivity at 0. You cannot go below 0, even if it wants to. You just gain speed. That's it. That's all. It has no other effect than that. So just, it's an entity reduction. That's it. Doesn't give you more bang for your buck. Speaking of which, if King is still here, there was this idea of having positive productivity on a few modules. Where did that go? there were some high-tier modules that had productivity in the positives of something or other. What was that again? Was it Faugi? I have forgotten. There was something though. If I go, actually, if I can just go into any building and look in here. What was it supposed to be? Again, there was something that had a positive productivity, but they all have -1 now. At this moment in time, as far as I'm aware, everything has -1. So, yeah, there's the Relesia, there's the Renea, Seaweed. We still don't have better recipes for trees as well. Or, I think, Mark 3 and 4 moss. And, like, better sap trees. I don't think those have ended up existing at all. Yeah, everything has the -1 productivity at all levels right now. So, yeah. Used to be that there were a few higher level modules that had positive productivity, but this would then actually get affected by that. This would get affected by that, whatever increase in productivity, and then you would get both productivity and speed on a module like this on labs, and that would definitely reduce the amount of science that you need to actually get science. Anyway, we need this. What is this? This is regular generic DNA samples. These generic DNA samples are going to consume red science. They also need steel chests as well as biosamples. Now the steel chests, oh hey, I'm out of small assembling machines. These are going to be made so here I am, having talked about not making anything permanent, doing something that's semi-permanent. This is steel in. I don't want that there. I do not want that there. I do not want that there. I do not want that there. Actually, who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? This is gonna have red and green and only red and green. Like, it's only gonna be red and green. We're going to be doing a completely separate setup with other labs once we get access to Rails. Everything will change with Rails. Literally everything will change with Rails. There's the steel for that. And then just add biosamples. Biosamples. Looks like I actually have to bring the biosamples up my bus to get here. Oops. That's for... Wait, what? Yes, that is accurate. And then it's gap of 2. So that makes it U. Going down. And down. And there. Huzzah! We now have the, once the biosamples make their way up, we will now have our beautiful, wonderful, and magnificent generic Earth DNA samples slowly but surely being made. We also need to make the Vrauk codex, which is going to need tinned cable, as well as lamps and circuits. Can I handcraft these? Yes, I can. I can handcraft a thingy. And I think I will just handcraft that for the moment. Now, down here, in my chest of beautiful, glorious stuff, I should also have a creature chamber, unless I already took it out. Creature chamber. Did I already remove you? Or stick you somewhere else? Oh, there you are. It's the first thing! It's the very first thing. So the creature chamber is what's going to be used to make actual creatures. And as you see, anything that requires cDNA will require us to have Vrauk first in order to actually make that cDNA. Although it looks like you can make caravans as long as you have poor alien samples, but that's going to require Relesia first. So there you go. And Relesia needs the cDNA. So here's all the things that we need. We need petri dishes, glassware, the Vrauk codex, as well as generic samples, biosamples, and moss gene samples. Well, there you go. There's your moss gene. I could move the other thingies in. I could actually do like this, and it would load in the glassware. The petri dishes I could do, or I could just manually feed in some petri dishes. We don't need all that many of these Vrauk, as I've stated before. Add these, add biosamples, which are all the way over here. Grab some of those. Just need more of those DNA samples and maybe some additional codexes if I want more. Let's go ahead and do this right quick. Grab those. We're going to need to switch that recipe over, by the way, up there that's making these generic samples. And now we have our first Vrauk moving. I need to actually craft the Vrauk paddocks. So let me go ahead and grab what I need for the Vrauk paddocks. Get rid of some of this. I do have some trash slots. Some at the moment. So all the way up here where I have my buffers. Let's make some... Oh, you need plastic. Alright, you need plastic. Did I ever put the plastic on the bus? I don't remember. I don't remember doing this thing. Where is it again? Plastic? Oh, hi. No, I did not. That is the answer. That is the answer to the question. No. No, I did not do that thing. You apparently need titanium as well. Hello, titanium. How many of these am I making? A few. Just a few. So, Vrauk cocoon. Not one of those things I'm particularly planning on using for a very, very long time. Consistently, that is. Why did I offset that? I offset that because I need to put down one of these to make me some filled water barrels. From in here, I need you to fill the water. Fill the water, which means I also need to have barrels. Which is going to consume some steel. There you go. That's going to be that. Just add water. Okay, these things. At the start, the biomass moss is going to be the thing that I need to do, and cages, so I will need to make cages as well. The cages... Just gonna have one doohickey making cages. Iron sticks, solder, and titanium plate. Okay. Now we need to think about solder. Boy. Oh, boy. So, solder. What's the building again on the molten solder? My voice. I just got the sharp pain. we have the option of doing plates into solder directly, or we can go the route of the molten hot air solder casting, which, as you can probably see, getting 7 out per cycle is a heck of a lot better than 1, and 5 in and of itself is a heck of a lot better than 1. So, yes, this is better. Now, the molten solder, there is only one option for us at the moment, and a basic oxygen furnace, which means a solid fuel is required, as well as lead and tin. That will be what we do. So where am I going to do this? Probably right underneath. Right here. I need some buffs. Give me stuff for buffs. No, we don't pronounce the L in solder, just like we don't really pronounce the L in kernel either. And it ends up, so if you pronounce the L in solder as solder, it ends up being a little bit too close to the word soldier, where you do pronounce the L. But anyway, let me get the buff. Don't know how many buffs I really need for this. I don't need too much solder for these cages. I need 0.75. Alright, I'm pretty sure a buff will help to take care of that. Making molten solder. That makes 5. And then it's what? Cast? Is it cast in a casting unit? Into solder? I don't remember. Solder? What do? You are cast in a casting unit. Hey, I got it. I remembered. There was no forgetting. I have remembered the thing. That makes 0.88 out of 6.25. That should be about 0.75, yeah, for 5. So that makes sense. That is good. I like when things are making some degree of sense. Just add hot air though, which 6.25. That's not much. Not much indeed. I'm just gonna grab this doohickey. This is not going to be my permanent solder setup, so I'm just gonna, like, direct feed into it and be perfectly happy with myself for doing so. Just add a few units. Probably just gonna grab 1 of these setups. Now, I could make this a little bit thinner of a setup if I didn't have these stacked. So I think I'll do exactly that. Yes, I will do exactly that. They'll be like so into that. And then just grab onto this. Oh, that's the alarm that we are halfway through the stream for the day, and it is time to take a briefest of breaks. I will, however, oh, that is off the tile. Do that, and I'll have to make the buildings when I get back. Make all the buildings for this little setup for the hot air. With that, folks, if you're watching the VODs on YouTube, that is the end of this particular video. I would like to thank you all for watching. You do all the social stuff below. For those watching live, I will be back in a few minutes so that I can, get up, stretch the legs, and maybe allow the kittens in. We shall see. I don't think I want to have them turn the computer off again, but we shall see. I will be back shortly.